Okay, we are live. We will start our village board meeting with the pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business tonight is a public hearing. Can I get a reading and proof of publication, Mo?
Sure. Notice is hereby given that pursuant to Section 7-706 of the Village Law of the State of New York and pursuant to resolution of the Village Board adopted September 3rd, 2020, a public hearing will be held by the Village Board at the regularly scheduled online remote meeting on the 17th day of September at 7:30 p.m. to consider a proposed local law amending the Village Code of the Village of Baldwinsville, Chapter 63, by adding a new Article 3, Section 63-4, providing that the code enforcement officer shall not be required to be a resident of the village so long as he is a resident of the County of Onondaga. A copy of the proposed local law may be examined by any interested party by contacting the office of the village clerk. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, persons wishing to be heard need to contact village clerk to obtain a password to participate by Zoom video conferencing. Please call the office no later than Thursday, September 17th by 3 p.m. Communications in writing in relation thereto may be filed with the clerk prior to the hearing by the Board of the Village Board of the Village of Baldwinsville.
Thank you, Mo. Kelly, you're here for the liquor license discussion?
Yes.
Okay, so at this point, we have no citizens who have signed on. I will ask if there's anybody willing to speak in favor of the proposal. And is there anyone who wants to speak against the proposal? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn and close the public hearing?
Moved.
Megan, Andy, second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right, we'll move into the regular meeting. Can I get a motion to approve Village Board meeting minutes from September 3rd, September 10th, and September 15th? September 3rd was regular meeting, 10th was the special meeting, and the 15th was the election meeting.
Moved.
Second.
Mike and Megan, any discussion on any of them? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We'll move to citizens' comments. We have been received a request from San Miguel Restaurant to waive the 30-day waiting period for them to receive their liquor license. Kelly is here representing the establishment. If you have any questions, this is going to be in the old Muddy Waters downstairs. It's obviously it's a Mexican restaurant, which is kind of nice to have in the village, I think. So if anybody has any questions of Kelly as far as how the business is going to work, anything that would pertain to the liquor license, this is your time. We appreciate Kelly showing up because we do this occasionally, and we really appreciate when there's somebody here in case there is a question. There isn't always questions, but we're not very happy when nobody bothers to show up. So it's nice to see you. Any questions?
Kelly, who and how do you represent them?
I'm sorry.
What's your last name, Kelly?
I'm sorry.
Your last name?
Metric.
And Andy's asking, what's your role in the business?
I'm the owner.
You're the owner. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is your timeline for opening?
Well, if we get this waived, I'm hoping by end of October, first thing November. We're moving very fast.
Great.
Good. Any other questions?
So just for the record, I don't see any problem with this. We welcome the new business to town. Tough time to to do it, but we'll try to support you every way we can.
Thank you.
Anybody want to float a motion?
Make the motion. I'll second.
All right, and the motion is to waive the 30-day waiting period in the liquor license application process. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. You're all set.
Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see everybody.
All right, thanks for showing up. You
Kelly,
don't have to stick around anymore. Oh,
Kelly, would you like to get the waiver letter? Can you stop by the office or?
I sure can. Should I stop by tomorrow or?
Yeah, we're there. I'll be there from 8 to 4. And
Okay,
you can
just
stop
call.
in.
Just call when I get there.
Actually, we have a video system. There's a button to push right when you get
And
to the door.
This is the village right in town, right across from the church where the police station is, or?
Yes.
Yes.
go behind the building.
Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow then.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
Kelly.
you so much.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck. Bye-bye. Okay, we have no other citizens' comments. We'll move on to trustees' comments. We'll start with Rusico.
No comment. Sorry about that.
Okay. Megan?
Just like to say thank you to everyone who came out and participated in the election on Tuesday. And, looking forward to serving the village residents for another 4 years.
Very good. Andy?
Congratulations, all the winners of the village elections. That's all I have.
Okay. Mike?
I feel like I've been just saying ditto to everything that Megan said for the last week. But I have to agree with her. I thank you for everybody who came out and voted. Looking forward to another 4 years, especially with my involvement with the police department. Other than that, I'll stick with the agenda.
Very good. Bruce?
I would like to congratulate Megan and Mike for their successful campaigns and the village residents for what, in my mind, may have been a record turnout for a non-mayoral year election. It's a tremendous turnout. Over 400 votes were cast. That was excellent.
Yep.
Other than that, I'll stick to the agenda.
Thanks, Bruce. Mark?
Well, Mike, if you're repeating everybody, I'm always the end, so I feel like I'm always repeating everything. But I think it is important to congratulate the group, our incumbents, and also I think to recognize Dennis Sick for his interest in serving the community. He wasn't successful this time, but I think it's healthy to have the competition. It stimulates the higher turnout, and so I wanted to just say thanks for being interested to try to help the village of Baldwinsville. There are other positions, so maybe there's something else he could do to help us in the future.
Very good, Mark. Thank you.
Second thing, sorry.
Okay, I'm
Second
sorry.
thing is I'm sure you'll say something about Steve D'Arcangelo.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make a comment because I've known Steve for a long time prior to his role as the village engineer here. And I've appreciated working with him and through the last several years as a member of the Department of Public Works. And I wish him all the best of luck in his future endeavors.
Very good.
Can't have any cake on the Zoom meetings.
I
too.
know, that's the trouble.
Thank you.
Yep. I have just a few things. Just so everybody knows, our court people feel like the court being open now has worked pretty well. It's only dealing with criminal cases, no traffic stuff. They wanted people to be reminded that there is a drop box outside the main door of Village Hall. If you're paying a ticket and you just want to drop it off, you don't need to go in and see anybody. Use the drop box. The system that they put in place, they have a screener that was hired. We have a police officer there specifically just for the court event. And it's been going pretty good. I know they're looking to expand and include more cases. They're trying to get caught up on the log jam that was started back early on. There was discussion today. I was on with Shelley Hoffman, and I was just saying that it's been a source of great pride to see how our village has operated through this whole thing. Our court has not missed a day. Our codes office hasn't missed a day. Our senior center hasn't missed a day. Our police haven't missed a shift, I don't think, because it's certainly not because of the COVID. Our DPW, the water, never missed a day. Some of the people stayed home until they were needed, but everything just went on as if nothing really was happening. We were getting work done, and I think it was important for the people of our village to feel like it may be an emergency somewhere in the world, but Baldwinsville's handling it pretty well. And for those of you who are involved, hats off to doing a great job of making people feel that way. I also pointed out that last week I sent out a notice about the governor's request that we come up with a pandemic plan. Should another pandemic like this strike, what would we do? I sent it out on Tuesday, and by Thursday, I think I had everybody but the court already had turned in response. And the court basically was shut down by the state unified system. I mean, they didn't have to decide whether anybody was essential or not. They were just told, you're not working, you're out of here. And then when they came back, they did split shifts, so they weren't both in at the same time and that type of stuff. So it's nice that we could do what was expected of us. And I appreciate it again to all of you who had a hand in it. To Greg, congratulations, now that you're a married man.
Thank you.
That was a very nice ceremony. Watched it on your Facebook site the other day. We did have a mayor's meeting last night. I was there by phone. They just put a phone on the table and I could hear the meeting and speak. One of the things, they had a representative from Okra, and she was there to tell people that Okra tipping fees were going up 5 to 10%. Now, we don't do our own trash pickups like a lot of the villages do, but our trash haulers are going to see that. And so our residents are probably going to see an increase in their trash bill. So I just want to give people a little heads up. I was very pleased, echoing what Bruce said with the election. And, the number of people, somebody said, what were you guessing? One of the people working last night, Tuesday night, and I said, I figured low 100. So I was floored that many people showed up, and I appreciate the fact that they felt it was important enough to get out and vote at a tough time. We had 65 absentee ballots, which is pretty significant, but still had well over 300 people walk in the door. So it wasn't a fluke. With 3 people within 6 votes of each other, our 3 incumbents. And I'm glad that the village appreciates the jobs that you do and wanted you back in office. And now we don't have another election for a year and a half, so that's good. I did want to mention the other night, I took a ride around the village on the south side, Tappan Street, Downer Street, and saw the new crosswalks. You may have noticed there's new lights, like a light shining into the crosswalk to make it safer to cross. That was our latest community development project, or maybe it was even last year's, but it didn't get done until this year. It was a very nice project. The crosswalks are much safer, and that leads me into a hats off to Steve. I don't know how many of you got to see his interview yesterday with Shelley Hoffman. It was quite ingenious the way they did it. They interviewed in 3 different places in the village. They started at Community Park, went to Mercer Park, and then ended up in the square. And Steve was able to highlight some of the things that we've accomplished since he became engineer. And it's a pretty impressive list. We will miss Steve. You've made a great impact on our village, Steve, and I'll miss you as a friend. We had a lot of great talks. I learned a lot about engineering, surface, on the, just on the edges of it, because obviously I don't understand, but there were things that I did not know before that I learned listening to you talk, and I have a greater appreciation for what goes into getting work done in the village. I think you're going to be tough to replace, and I wish you all the luck in the world. I hope we're not strangers and we get to see you around a little bit. One of these days, maybe, who knows, maybe we'll fire up the grill up at DPW and have a couple hot dogs and hamburgers with the group. But again, wish you a lot of luck in your new job, and hats off to all you accomplished while you were here. So we'll move to department heads. We'll start with, let me see who we got here. Mo, village clerk.
Well, hang on, you surprised me.
I know.
I don't usually go first.
Well, I didn't look at my list. I just looked at who was first in the pile here.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate about the election. Everything went well. We had 407 voters. That included we ended up with 61 valid absentee ballots. So it was a good day for all to come out. So that was a good turnout. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you, Steve. It's been enjoyable working with you, and good luck.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our attorney, Bob.
I'd like to echo the comments about Steve too. It's really been a pleasure working with you, and I'm not sure that the board members understand, Steve, how much time and effort you've put in with the planning and zoning boards, not only on the engineering side, but on your community interest side, and been a very valuable tool. And I think those boards are going to miss you just as much as the village board is. So I wish you good luck as well. And it's been a pleasure working with you. And it's going to be a tough chair to fill. But other than that, I'll stick with the agenda.
Very good. Thank you. Code Officer Greg.
Yeah, I'd like to echo again the thoughts, Steve, all the help that he's been with buildings that have become dangerous, that we've need to tear down. His expertise in looking at those from a structural standpoint, helping that process move forward, projects that have been completed while he's been here, from trails to community park to kayak launches to pavilions, repairs to buildings in the village. I mean, there's just a lot that's happened in the last 8 years, so it's hard to roll that into a short conversation. But again, what Bob said, his help with the planning board and the zoning board of appeals has been invaluable. There's just so much time and effort put into those projects that people don't always see in the short meetings that we have. So discussions that we've had in my office over the years about the village and projects and code issues, codes that work and don't work. It's been really nice to have Steve to bounce ideas off of and just help with my job as well. So want to say thank you to Steve, and good luck.
All right. Senior Center, Ruth.
Well, Steve, I certainly want to wish you well, and I want to thank you for all the community development money that you have brought in to benefit the senior center. It's been significant and had a major impact on the facility for the folks to enjoy. So I want to thank you for all that effort, and also wish you the best as you're going forward. Thank you.
That it?
Well, just a couple things we're doing. We did have a concert today, so I was really grateful that the sun decided to come out at exactly 2:30 for our 3 o'clock concert, and that went really well. And I just want to share with the board that folks are really grateful for the chance to get together. We're trying to do it safely outside and follow all the protocols, but it is meaningful for them to have the opportunity to come together and have a couple hours of pleasure. Also, our falls prevention class is happening outside. That's led by a physical therapist, Julie Hall, and she's doing that class Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 9:30 outside, as long as the weather permits. So that's available to folks. And the flu shots will be happening next Wednesday. That's a drive up. Bring your insurance cards, wear a mask, and the pharmacist will come to your vehicle. And I think that's it. And thank you.
Appreciate how busy you've been keeping people. You know, it's nice. You know, seniors have an awful lot of spare time, and that's when a lot of the problems creep up. And so the fact that you're eating in a little of that spare time is good. So happy to see that. Police Department, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. I would echo the comments of a number of people. Congratulations to the incumbent trustees that won re-election. I look forward to working with all of you over the next few years, especially Trustee Shepard, who chairs our Public Safety Committee, and as we work on our collaboration and reinvention of the police department is ordered by the governor. My comments regarding Steve are pretty much directed to him because as you look at it as a village employee and the things that you accomplished during your tenure, Steve, whether they be upgrades to the trails and making the village more walkable with the sidewalks or upgrades to our parks, those are things that you cannot take with you. Those are things that is kind of unique in your position as village engineer. They're left behind. And there's going to be people in this village decades from now enjoying the work that you did here for the village. So as you move on to something else, you should be very, very proud of what you accomplished here and know that those things are going to be enjoyed by a lot of village residents and visitors to the village for years to come. So kudos to you in that regard. And then, Mayor, I continually hammer this point. I know I have asked you to hammer this point in your talks with people. I would ask our village residents that are watching this, I would ask our village board members that I know many of you have at least 330 friends or people that support you because they voted for you. Would you please, please, please tell all the people you know to lock their car doors. We continue, as even last night, to have individuals come from outside our community and attempt to break into cars. And when I mean break in, they're entering into cars that are unlocked. They're not smashing windows to gain access into cars. Last night we had someone that left their keys in their car. The only reason the vehicle wasn't stolen is because the criminals that were trying to steal it couldn't drive a stick shift. But if it was an automatic, the car would be long gone. Another person had over $100 stolen out of their vehicle. So we need people to lock their car doors. This is something that members of the public can do that will really assist in driving down any crime that we have, because they will go to greener pastures. And what we're finding is individuals are coming from outside the area to the Baldwinsville general area. I don't know if it's people feel secure here, so they don't think that they need to lock their cars. But I appreciate people feeling that secure, but you really need to, especially during those overnight hours. We're going to be trying to do a public education campaign, Mayor, even as much more as we can and have been to try and raise the awareness on this issue. But anything our board members and citizens out in the community could do, I would be most appreciative of.
Very good. Okay, Michael. And we'll wrap up Public Works. Steve?
Well, thank you everyone for your kind thoughts and words. I've greatly appreciated and enjoyed my time here at the village. I'm leaving because an opportunity came my way. That's certainly the only reason why I'm leaving. I've enjoyed all the support that I've gotten from the board, particularly from the Public Works Committee members. You know, we chased some initiatives that maybe were expensive at times, and I've greatly appreciated the funding that the board has provided for. Special thanks to Chuck and Louise, people I work with very closely. They made my job easy. You know, they're people who show up to work every day and give 100%, are very dedicated to the community and dedicated to their job. I'm fortunate to have them. Same with Greg and Mary in their office, Jody working there. It used to be Linda. these are people, you know, they're easy to manage, and I've had very little interaction to make it work. I mean, you know, Mo makes the billing side work. You know, it's not anything that I'm really involved with, quite honestly, on a day-to-day basis. So thank you to everyone. I will miss the village. I certainly enjoyed the time there, and working with everyone. And Bob, thank you for the support you've given when we've been in planning board, particularly in the ZBA work. So thank you to everyone. And I don't plan on being a stranger. I live in the community. I'm not a village resident, but much of my spending and time is spent in the village because it's a nice, healthy, vibrant village. It's fun to be in. So thank you to everyone. On the DPW side, I would like to report, you know, when we talk about Chuck, there's a water main break yesterday. He and some of the DPW employees were working until 10 o'clock at night. And as fate would have it, we had another water main break today. Hopefully not a sign of the times, but as our infrastructure ages, that is something that we will be faced with more and more as time goes on. But 2 water main breaks in 2 days, and I'll assure you it's exhausting work. And they tackle it as if it's just another day. And I'm very proud of what they've been able to accomplish while I've been here. So the assistance from the DPW staff has been great as well. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I forgot in my little time to schedule an executive session, personnel issue. Mark, did you need to schedule one too?
Yes, if we're going to go into executive session, I can give an update on the contract negotiation.
Okay, so personnel contract. Okay, that's on the end of the pending business. Those will be items G and H. And we'll move on to pending business. Can I get a motion adopting a proposed local law amending the village code of the Village of Baldwinsville, Chapter 63, by adding a new Article 3, Section 63-4, providing that the code enforcement officer shall not be required to be a resident of the village so long as he or she is a resident of the county of Onondaga. Get a motion? Andy? Mark with a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Mayor, I have a question, Mayor.
Okay.
Only because I don't know if this is potentially going to impact the police department. Correct me if I'm wrong. Greg is a civil service employee hired off of a civil service list, correct?
I'm assuming, yeah, you get, yep.
Okay. So does that now mean that the village is going to have to notify Onondaga County to list on their job for the test that he has to be a resident of the county? Because is that a requirement now on that exam notification?
My understanding is that it is not.
So is that something that will have to be added to that as far as something for the village?
Now, I looked into, I don't have the notes with me, but I had looked into that because that question came up before. And although it's the code enforcement officer is a public officer under state law, I do not think that the county needs to get involved with that.
But the county's the one that posts the exam notification for the village. They act as the de facto personnel division for the village of Baldwinsville, as they do for all municipalities except the city of Syracuse in Onondaga County. So since they're the ones posting the exam notice, we're adding now another requirement for that, potentially that exam notification. Correct? Or
It doesn't already stipulate county residency?
that's my question.
Usually it does for municipal jobs, unless someone lives outside and they open it up to a broader statewide system.
Yeah, that is not, I can tell you that's not the case when I get the police department list, because there are people from all over New York State, Buffalo, depending if they've signed up for that exam. There's no requirement that they live within the village. So that's my only question here.
I do not believe so, but I will double check on that.
Okay.
We did the same thing with the village engineer.
That's an appointed position though.
Yeah, and
Not a civil service one.
well, Greg is also in the code enforcement officer, but also the
Fire marshal?
fire marshal, which is enforces the state building code and the state fire code. So I'll double check that, but I run across a question that came up on that when this all came up, and I'll have to pull that back up again. But
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the exam right now is not restricted to residents of the village of Baldwinsville. The testing, the civil service exam is going to cover a broader thing. We used to stipulate that the successful candidate that we would hire had to be a resident within a certain period of time. So if somebody from Rome took the test, came in first, and was hired, they would have, under the old rules, would have had to move to the village of Baldwinsville. Now they'd have to move into the county of Onondaga, I would think.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right.
The past few have not lived in the village, though. The last few code officers
Right.
did not live in the village, so.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And Bob, all opposed? Bob, you'll check on that
yes,
in case there's any follow through we need to do with that. Okay. All right. New business. Can I get a motion to accept the resignation of village engineer Stephen D'Arcangelo with an effective date of October 23, 2020 with regrets?
Moved.
Megan,
I'll second it.
any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to emphasize that one of the strongest attributes Steve has brought to the job has been he's been an advocate of the village of Baldwinsville. He's an engineer, he's been the supervisor DPW, does his job well, but the big thing is he is an advocate of our community.
Yeah.
And that's a tremendous thing. He's just not reporting to work.
Yep. Very good. Thank you, Bruce. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And there he goes.
He left. He probably had to go get charcoal out of trouble. Dog. Item B, can I get a motion to appoint Mark Jenkins as the planning board alternate member at a rate of $50 a month with an effective date of September 18th, 2020?
Moved.
Motion. Second, whatever.
Any discussion? You should have his resume. I think he'll probably be a good addition to that board. So, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right. Item C. Can I get a motion authorizing village clerk Maureen Butler to change the records numbers of adopted resolutions since April 6, 2020, beginning of the official year?
Moved.
Second.
Mo, you want to explain to people what this is all about? I know, but
No, she doesn't.
We read it.
All right. Well, usually after the annual meeting, the official year begins. Well, and then you start off with the first resolution of the year. Well, since we didn't have the annual meeting, I kept continuing the resolution numbers from 2019 in anticipation of the organizational meeting. So I believe that the official year still began in April. So I need to go back and change the resolution numbers only for those minutes.
Makes sense. Have fun.
Sure will.
Fortunately, there was a stretch where there were very few, just one or two a night, and a few more tonight. But okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Item D. Can I get a motion to approve the appointment of Plumley Engineering as interim engineers for the village when needed?
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
What does this mean?
Go ahead.
What does it mean?
What it means is that as Steve disappears into the sunset and we need somebody to help us with an engineering issue, Steve has said he'll be available when he can be available, but he has another job. And if something new comes up that he hadn't already had his hands involved and wouldn't be able to just say, oh, this is a quick one and we can take care of that quickly, Plumley will step in and service us until we can hire somebody to replace Steve.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second. And this comes, with recommendation of Steve that Plumley would be a good company to service us because they've done it before. They're particularly fond of the village. So, and that's the impression I got when I talked to Jesse Plumley, that they were excited to be able to help the village. So, and there you have it. So we've got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Item E. Can I get a motion to support and approve a grant request made by the New York State Unified Court System Justice Assistance Program by the Village Justice Court in the amount of $1,517?
Move.
Andy? Second?
Second.
Ruth? Any questions?
Yeah, when I looked at, do you know who's going to do the installation of these shelves? And if it's going to be in-house, I would suggest that in the future, the judge or whoever incorporate a labor cost that we can charge back against our own people, because it's going to take them out. It just isn't going to happen by magic.
Right. Good point. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. This is the one where everybody has to sign. So try to get yourself to Village Hall and sign it. Item F, can I get a motion authorizing the mayor to execute the Canton Woods agreements upon approval by the village attorney of any changes, or the village board of trustees if any changes are substantial? So get a motion?
Move.
Andy? Ruth with a second. This is a revised agreement that includes taking the senior activity group and making them a committee underneath the 501c3 at Canton Woods. And so it alters the agreement as far as how that works, how the money will be moved and that type of stuff. And Bob's been working hard on this. And so as long as nobody has any further concerns, if we can get that adopted tonight, that will be great. And then get that on to the two supervisors and get their signatures and be done with this. It's been a long process. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Before we move into executive session, any other business that we need to address? All right. Can I get a motion to move into executive session? Item G would be contractual update, and item H will be personnel issues. Can I get a motion? Mark? Second? Mike? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? See you, the rest of you in the world in October. October 1st, I believe, is our next meeting.